I'm back at the ambulance company, night shift, working 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Fear up base, outside. And today I'm going to talk about backup plans. And the analogy I'm going to make is to the scene from the third Dark Knight trilogy movie. And if you're not familiar with it, Bane, when he's growing up, he has to cross over, he has to leap from one platform to another platform to escape the pit that he's in. And everybody else wears a rope as they're going up there, and everyone else keeps failing. They don't jump far enough to get to the other platform. And then Bane goes up there onto the platforms, and he doesn't have the rope. So if he falls, he's gonna die. And then he leaps from one platform to the other platform, and he makes it, unlike all those other people that had the rope. And the analogy I'm going to make here is to a feeling of safety that you have right now, working your job, in where basically you're able to pay rent, you're able to do this and that. And this is more for me here. I'm telling you my personal story about why I'm pulling out my backup plan. So I'm about probably to leave this job, and it's going to put some pressure on me because I have savings at this point to kind of help sustain me for a period of time while I get started with my YouTube videos and my business videos ideas. But there is a pressure there because if I fail, then I'm going to burn through a lot of savings, not really have much to show for it. I'm not going to die, it's not quite as extreme as the movie from Bane, but it is the case I don't have a backup plan, really. I'm not kind of holding on to the job and trying to move into YouTube at the same time. I'm going fully towards YouTube, and if it crashes and fails, then I've lost some time, I've lost some money, but it's much more important that I put it all on the line than I sort of keep flailing, half trying to jump out of the pit. Keep trying to half do work, not have time to put quality time in to make good videos, making a lot of videos like this. And I've found that these talking head videos without any edits actually do better. You guys are listening to these longer than some of my hyper edited ones where I really kind of try to be a little more educational, be a little bit more formal. But I'm going to continue to sort of experiment here, continue to talk about Bitcoin and other things, but this is about a couple different themes here. One of the big premises of my channel right now is hope. And I think hope is really important. I think it's important to have something you're aiming towards. But sometimes when you're kind of tired and life's pretty comfortable, hope isn't really enough to motivate you, no matter how great the thing you're trying to move towards might actually be. It takes a healthy dose of fear to get you up and in motion sometimes. And I think that leaving your job and slowly watching your savings dwindle adds that element of fear. It sort of makes you like a mouse, and you're not only running away from one mouse trap to try to get where you're going to get caught and you're going to die, but you're also running towards something meaningful. So I guess for this scenario, maybe there's some cheese. You're running away from the mouse trap and towards the cheese in my mouse Bane combination analogy. And another aspect of this, it's a little different when you're trying to actually accomplish something on your own, but to have fear and hope. But since I'm talking about Bitcoin in every video for at least a little bit, I'm going to tie this into Bitcoin and diversification. So Michael Saylor has said, pick one diversification strategy that would have saved me if I was investing in different companies in Argentina before the economy collapsed. And in the past, I've thought, okay, that's true, but I don't think the U.S. economy is going to collapse, at least yet. Throughout history, most big empires, or all big empires really, have collapsed or been reformed in some way. So, will the U.S. eventually collapse? Maybe. Will it happen in my lifetime? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. But I think that his premise is right. If you find something you're really confident in intellectually, like Bitcoin, where you see it, you see the principles behind it, and it seems like a good solution that's sort of resilient to other economic factors that might be going on, you know, there's going to be an element of fear and hope there. And it's what you're comfortable with. But he compares it to the S&P 500, and he says, look, there's 7 stocks that are driving 99% of the growth of the S&P 500. And there's a lot more risk in something like that than you might be aware of. And there's a lot of dilution there, where you're buying all of these losing companies. He says for Amazon to win, all the retail stores had to fail. So why are you diversifying into them? Just buy the winner. So I'm kind of going all in on a couple things here, and it could end disastrously. But what's the alternative, you know? There's a 100% chance that I'm going to die in my lifetime. And there's a 100% chance that I'm going to suffer a hell of a lot in my lifetime. So why not take a risk, a calculated risk? That's all I really got for today. I'll see you guys soon.